It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Jim Pedley.
Jim Pedley with the Kansas City Star.
He's top of the list. He's the top of the list.
Jeff, weather permitting, looks like Joey Logano could get his first start this weekend. I guess, first of all, what was your emotional state before your first race, heading into your first race? And second of all, what do you think of the scrutiny that's been put on this kid going into the first race?
Well, I mean, I think he's tremendous. You know, I think it's great for the sport. He's very talented, obviously, and he was running good today. So I know that they don't want to see this rain. I think anytime a young talent comes into the sport, it's good in every way. I think the one thing, you can have all the talent in the world, you can have a tremendous amount of experience, getting to this level. The one thing you cannot be prepared for is when you've got that much hype and that much focus on you coming in of the demands on your time, the cameras in your face, the autographs, the fan base, all those things are not things that you can train for, and so that's and it didn't happen to me immediately. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody with as much attention coming into this series as Joey. So obviously he's got a lot on his shoulders. He seems to have lived up to all of it so far. But I do know once you get to the Cup level, that's what changes. Is that you start. There's just so many factors, and for me. Back in 1992, when I ran my first race, I felt like the whole world was watching me, even though they weren't. I felt like I was under a microscope, even though I wasn't to the extent that it was excruciating, for me. I was excited to be out there and get that opportunity. I wanted to do well. I questioned, do I have what it takes to be at this level, to compete at the top in this series? So there's just a lot of unknowns. He seems to have a lot of confidence, and that's certainly good. I'm more anxious to see, and certainly Joe Gibbs and JD are great at being able to offer advice and recognize those things and be able to help him through those things that I'm talking about, which to me is what the challenges are going to be. I think he's going to do a great job in the race car. It's how's he going to handle all the other things on top of it, especially with all the attention from the media that he's getting. That's when you really find out what you're made of, and that's when scheduling and having good people around you helping you get through the PR aspect of it, the monetary side of it, start making a lot of money that you weren't used to, all those things that start to weigh on your decision making and your focus of being able to get out in the car and go do your job.
Let's go with David, and then we'll come over here to Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, you hear drivers talk about how I wasn't ready to win a championship those early years of their career. Jimmy said it before, too. Is Kyle Busch ready to win one, and why?
Well, I will say this. I think Carl is more ready than Kyle. I think Kyle has the ability to go really hard, really fast, and he's made big improvements, in my opinion, this year over last year. Last year when he drove for us, there wasn't a single practice that they didn't have to knock out the right side, on the car. This year it seems to be like every fifth race that happens. So he's still doing it a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. He's pushing that hard. That's why he runs fast. And they've won a bunch of races, so he's gotten more comfortable. I mean, he's close. If he's not, I mean, he's as good as anybody out there right now. I certainly put him, at the top, or in the top 3 or 4 guys, in my opinion, of who really has a shot this championship or the best shot at it, but I would put, Carl ahead of him as far as being ready experience-wise, and I put Jimmy ahead of both of those guys with just his experience of winning the last two.
And one more thing, do you still think the Chase is harder to win than winning the title in the old format?
I do. I mean, I think that right now, I think Kyle would have a lock on this thing. I mean, I think that there's a very good chance he's not going to win this championship just because of the Chase format. So, in my opinion, it really comes down, except for those bonus points, it really comes down to 10 races, those specific 10 races. And I guess maybe it's more for me. I feel like I focused so hard for so many years that, okay, you had to be good at a short track, at a super speedway, at a road course, at the mile and a halves, and we didn't have as many mile and a halves, but that was, my goal. I looked at the guys who won championships, and they were good everywhere, and they were great at some places, and so that's what I focused on, was trying to be good everywhere that I possibly could. And now, I don't think it's now. It's you better be good at those 10 races, and you got to get yourself into the chase. So your team's got to be solid, but it's to be on your game for those specific 10 races, not have any problems. There's just a lot of factors in there, and to win it, I think is very, very challenging, and that's why I respect it. Why I want one really bad. And maybe being easier or harder is not the right terminology for it. Certainly, you can't compare history of the old championship versus the new one.
Go right here, and then I believe Monty has one. Go ahead.
Jay Pennell, HardcoreRaceFans.com. Do you think with so much focus being spent on the last 10 races, if you're up there running for the championship like you and Jimmy were last year, do you think we're going to see a trend sort of like we did this year where those guys running for the top spots are going to remain focused while everybody else kind of has the leeway to focus on getting ready for next year? Do you think that's something we're going to see as years go past with the Chase, or is that just something with the development of the new car that was a fluke maybe one year?
Well, I think that, anytime you introduce a new car, I think you maybe are going to see more of that. But I think it's always going to be the case. I think anybody that doesn't make the Chase, that's their goal is get ready for next year. And that doesn't mean that they throw away those last 10 races. They might hit on some things and really think outside the box that works where they win a race, or a couple races. Who knows? But I think that for us, I know when we didn't make the Chase, that was definitely our goal. Was we use these 10. You can't find a better testing session than those final 10 races. Next year, if we're able to go to more tracks, like they're saying with the possible testing schedule, then that those 10 races as a test are still important, but maybe not as important because we can actually go to the racetracks now.